Under the third productive theme, sustainable future, navigating AI for a greener tomorrow, emphasizing the immense potential of artificial intelligence in driving sustainability and shaping a better future for generations to come. Unable to be with us today, we extend our regards to Reverend Dr. Roy Abraham Pare Parambil, Director of Administration, Amaljodi College of Engineering, a distinguished academician and administrator, has vast experience from leading Marian College, Kutiganam through its autonomy phase to serving as the Director of Zyme Bangalore, has played a crucial role in shaping academic excellence across institutions. We are privileged to have with us Dr. Lidli Kuti Jacob, Principal of Amaljodi College of Engineering, whose steadfast leadership and vision continue to drive this institution towards greater heights in academics and research excellence. I welcome you, ma'am, to this conference. A warm welcome to Dr. Soni C. George, Dean of Research, Amaljodi College of Engineering, whose relentless efforts in fostering a strong research culture in Amaljodi College of Engineering have significantly contributed to the growth of innovation and scholarly pursuits within this institution. I welcome you, sir, to this conference. We also extend a warm welcome to Dr. Juby Matthew, Professor and Head of the Department of Computer Science Engineering and General Chair of Nacore 2025. His dynamic leadership and commitment to advancing research and academic endeavors have been instrumental in organizing this prestigious conference. We also welcome the organizing co-chair, Dr. Cynthia Pio, who have played a crucial role in bringing together experts and scholars to create a platform for meaningful discussions and knowledge exchange. I welcome you, ma'am, to this conference. It's a pleasure to welcome our keynote speaker, Mr. Suresh Babu, Product and Technology Executive at Starfish Software and Chief Technology Officer and co-founder. His insights into cutting-edge technology and innovation will certainly provide valuable perspectives that align with our conference and theme. He's online, and I welcome him to this particular conference. A warm welcome to all the session chairs, reviewers, and committee members whose expertise and commitment helped us uphold the academic rigor and integrity of this conference. I welcome you all. We extend our welcome to all the faculty and staff of CSE Department, Amaljodi College of Engineering, whose contributions and support have been vital in making this event a reality. Welcome every staff member to this conference. A big welcome to our student volunteers whose enthusiasm and dedication behind the scenes have ensured the seamless execution of this event. Welcome you all. And finally, a heartfelt welcome to all the presenters and participants, both internal and external, who have come together to share their research, exchange ideas, and collaborate on pioneering solutions for a sustainable and AI-driven future. Let this conference be a space where ideas converge, collaborations take place, and innovations emerge to address the challenges of tomorrow. Welcome to Nacore 2025. Thank you.
Morning, everyone. Respected Principal Dr. Lilukutti Jacob, Research Dean Dr. Soni C. George, Conference Coordinators Dr. Jayakrishna V. and Dr. Cynthia, esteemed faculty members, and my dear students. I strongly believe that this will be a great opportunity for our students to gain valuable insight into research, article writing, and enhance their research skills, setting them on the path to academic and professional excellence. Nacore has a remarkable legacy, having been established in 2009 with a focus on publishing high-quality research papers in different fields such as cybersecurity, recent trends in computing, environment and sustainable development, machine learning, and artificial intelligence, among others. Reflecting on Nacore journey, in Nacore 2016, was a landmark event jointly organized by the Department of CSE and Department of Computer Applications. The conference held from January 28 to 13, 2016 was conducted through AView online platform with the 25 top colleges and universities across India participating. 58 research papers were presented and Professor Deepak Patak, Professor IIT Bombay, inaugurated the event. The conference had the technical support of IIT Bombay and Amrita University and was sponsored by KSCST and Federal Bank. In Nacore 23 focused on cybersecurity and sustainability as its core themes. The conference was inaugurated by Dr. Panchami of IIT Kottayam with the 89 research papers presented and published. This event was also supported by KSST. Nacore 24 saw Dr. Ibn Deniraj, Professor IIT Kottayam, inaugurating the conference with the 98 papers presented and published and continued support from KSCST. And now we are proud to host 5th edition of Nacore in 25 with the 102 papers accepted, a testament to the growing impact and prestige of this conference. It is especially gratifying to see a significant number of our final year students presenting and publishing their research, reflecting the growing research culture within our institution. The accepted papers of Nacore conferences are published in the International Journal of Emerging Research Areas, indexed in Google Scholar, and the abstract are included in the Nacore conference proceedings with an ISBN number. I extend my heartfelt appreciation to the conference coordinators, Dr. Jayakrishna V. and Dr. Cynthia Pio, along with the dedicated teaching and non-teaching staff of the Department of Computer Science and Engineering for their relentless efforts in making this event a success. I truly hope that Nacore 25 will inspire meaningful discussions, collaborations, and innovations while exposing participants to the future trends in research and technology. May this conference empower all attendees with the knowledge and skills to succeed in their academic and professional journeys. Wishing all a fruitful and enriching experience. Thank you.
Dr. Sonisky George, Dean of Research. We are honored to have Dr. Nacore Jacob of Amanjodi College of Engineering deliver the inaugural.
A very warm morning to you all. Head of the department, Dr. Juby Matthew, the Research Dean of Amanjodi, Professor Soni C. George, the coordinators of this Nacore 2025, Dr. Jayakrishna, Dr. Cynthia, other faculty members of the Computer Science Department, and my dear students. I am extremely happy that this Nacore is actually the 5th edition, and the previous 4 editions, as Dr. J.P. Matthew has already informed you, the 4 previous editions were all grand successes. In fact, they are also publishing these papers in a journal, and that also has been started last year. I mean, before that. So this conference is organized by the department in association with the ACM Professional Chapter of Kottayam. And I have seen that there are huge involvement of our students in this conference. Unlike the previous editions, where the focus, it covered broad spectrum of topics in computer science. This time it is focused on AI for sustainability. And I find that they have very important topics like AI and sustainability, AI in renewable energy, sustainable resource management, green AI and sustainable computing, AI for climate action, ethical and inclusive AI for smart cities and communities, and other topics. So these are all very important topics. And I don't want to elaborate on this. And I'm sure you will have a huge amount of information, knowledge from the research community through the papers in these areas. So their studies, their findings, and their suggestions or more contributions into this area. Of course, no, it's very heartening to see that all the final year students have also contributed to this conference. And so what is the purpose of all this? Not just for the sake of publishing something? No, actually, no, we have to work on this. No, whatever we are contributing in the research community, whatever they are contributing, that should be finally have some impact, societal impact. So we have to work on that and see that finally that will get into some products, some policies, or some standards. Then only it will have some societal impact. Otherwise, it will be just remain as papers in conference proceedings and journals. That will not make any. That's a huge amount of information already available. It is still as mere addition to that. Now, beyond that, we have to see that something is outcome. Some outcome is happening. That is, it should come as a part of some government policies or some standards or some products. Then only it will have some impact. Anyway, it's a very important that now students get oriented, undergraduate students get oriented to research while they are in their UG program. So I am very happy that now every department in the college is conducting this kind of national or international conferences and giving our students a holistic development in the sense, no, they are understanding the importance of research. In fact, today itself, no, another department, computer application department, is also having their national conference today and tomorrow. Like that, no, every department's having. So once again, I wish all success for the conference and the organizing committee and the Department of Computer Science and all the students. Have a wonderful time. You collaborate with that. I mean, you can have the chance of listening to the great speakers, their wisdom, words of wisdom through the keynote addresses and plenary talks. And also you can listen to other researchers, faculty and other research organizations. They are contributing to this particular conference. So you can listen to that and find out some of the topics or some of the ideas very interesting for you so that you can work on that. So collaboration, networking, and collaboration and networking are other important aspects of this kind of conferences. So with this, I declare this conference as inaugurated. Thank you.
Good morning, is it? Can I go or I need to wait?
Respected and beloved principal and the president of the function, Professor Dr. Lilukudi Jacob, head of the computer science department and general chair of the Nacore 25, Professor Dr. Juby Matthew, conference chairs, Dr. Jayagashnavi and Dr. Cynthia Pio, esteemed delegates from different institutions, faculty members, and my dear students. A warm good morning to you all. This is an age of or time of offers. Suppose that we have an offer like this. Let us solve your impossible problem. Would you turn positively to this offer? I hope all of us have several impossible problems. Definitely we will accept this offer. Today, AI, artificial intelligence is going to make such an offer. Let us solve all your impossible problems. My dear students, so when we look at the ages of history, 70s and 80s, we have plastics, polymers age, and people all over the world embraced these polymers, plastics. And later we can find that become so cheap. And it's an age of computer, really. Development, several types of development has taken place. And in electronics and communication, networking, and become so easy for everyone. So everywhere, from here to or any parts of the world, anybody can contact. Miniaturization has taken place. And it is an age of information then later. Then we have nanotechnology. Devices become small, very small, nano size. And today, this is the age of artificial intelligence. So all of us know the benefits of artificial intelligence. So is it for sustainability? So when we look at this, chatbots all of you are using. So how nicely these AI-based chatbots are giving instructions, guiding us. And when you look at the waste management system, so one industry in like Convo Waste, so they have developed an AI-based system in which they found that 6 kind of the waste can be separated, segregated very easily. The recyclable and non-recyclable waste will be converted very easily, separated easily. And similarly, the plastics are very much problem today, microplastics. But AI developed an enzyme that may degrade these plastics. And the water treatment, water purification development, it is also AI-based water treatment systems are monitoring and for handling and also for the better disposal of pure water that is also taking place. And everywhere, when you look around, we can find worldwide, there are so many developments in AI. I hope this deliberations will be lead us more insight into this area. AI only for blessing, AI a blessing? Is there any negative point? I hope this conference will definitely discuss about the pros and cons of artificial intelligence. AI cannot, my wish is that AI should not overpower human mind, human brain. A human can make it or make it for their own development, the development of the society. And it is a tool, what I understood. So I wish you all success and a very good time. And this deliberation should be meaningful and beneficial to you for your learning, teaching, and for your personal as well as societal life. Prior to conclude, I would like to congratulate the organizing team headed by Professor Dr. Juby Matthew and Dr. Jayagashna and Dr. Cynthia and all the faculty members. Most of them are sitting here, and the student coordinators. Wonderful to see that student coordinators are doing wonderfully this. So I congratulate them also. So thank you all. Thank you.
Good morning to all. It is my privilege and honor to extend heartfelt word of thanks on this occasion of Nacore 2025. First and foremost, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to our principal, Dr. Lilikoti Jacob, who consistently strive for perfection in all aspects of our college activities. Thank you, ma'am. Next, I extend my sincere thanks to our Dean Research, Dr. Soni C. George. Sir, your encouragement and support are invaluable in fostering a research-driven culture within our organization. Thank you, sir. Next, I would like to thank our head of the department, Dr. Juby Matthew, shedding light on its vision and the significance of such initiative in advancing academic and industrial research. Thank you, sir, for your tireless efforts and guiding us. It's my privilege to extend a heartfelt thanks to our organizing chair, Dr. Jayakrishna V, whose dedication and leadership have been instrumental in making this event a grand success. Thank you, sir. Also, I thank our keynote speaker, Mr. Suresh Babu. He's the co-founder Starfish Software USA. Thank you, sir. I extend my heartfelt appreciation to all the researchers and participants. Your presence and enthusiasm enrich the platform and drive the spirit of innovation. Also, I offer thanks to organizing team, publicity, registration, venue management, and technical team, and all the volunteers for your efforts in ensuring the smooth execution of this event. Thank you all.
अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलति तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Please leave me. Diverse experience in the technology sector. His expertise spans with a wide range of domains, including software development, advanced technology research, and innovation-driven leadership. Throughout his illustrious career, he has been instrumental in developing and implementing cutting-edge software solutions that have had a global impact. His unwavering commitment to fostering innovation and his deep insights into the ever-evolving tech landscape make him a true inspiration for aspiring engineers, researchers, and technology enthusiasts alike. As the CTO of Starfish Software, Mr. Suresh Babu has spearheaded groundbreaking technology initiatives, continues to be driving force in shaping the future of emerging technologies. We are eagerly looking forward for the keynote address. Today, he will address in the compelling topic, AI for sustainable future, innovation, impact, and ethical imperatives. a theme that is both timely and critical as we explore the evolving role of emerging technologies in shaping a sustainable world. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me once again in extending a warm and enthusiastic welcome to our distinguished keynote speaker, Dr. Suresh Babu.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your introduction. Thank you very much for the lovely introduction to me. I hope you can hear me good, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me share. So good morning, everyone. It's an honor to be here at the Nacore 2025 hosted by Amal Jyoti College of Engineering. And I'd like to extend my gratitude to Dr. Jovi Matthew and the entire organizing committee for inviting me to speak today. See, looking around this conference and listening to the people, I see the future of innovation. Brilliant minds of academia, researchers pushing boundaries, and the students who shape tomorrow's technological landscape. This conference theme, Sustainable Futures, Integrating AI for a Greener Tomorrow, couldn't be a more timely or essential. So when I was thinking about what I should be talking about the keynote, rather than going into one specific item, I thought it may be better that we cover the whole concept in the next 30, 40 minutes. Today, we actually stand at a critical crossroads. On one path, we have this unprecedented advances in artificial intelligence, which is transforming every aspect of our life. We just heard now that, where AI is being implemented, how is it is helping the people, and how is, like, if you take your phone, if you go to any place, everywhere there is an AI. On the other side, we face accelerating environmental challenges that threaten our planet's future. So the question before us isn't whether we use technology or we use sustainability. So, it's not contradicting each other. It should be how we will use one to make the other better. So we live in a defining decade. The choices we make today in how we build and use AI will shape the world we pass to the future generations. So in the next maybe 40 minutes, 45 minutes to 1 hour, let us explore how AI can be a powerful ally in our pursuit of sustainable future. We will examine the current applications already making a difference, discuss the challenges we must navigate, and envision what is possible when we align our technological innovations and environmental stewardship. It's very important to remember that, I don't know whether it is still a motto around, but when I was doing my engineering around 35 years back, we always used to shout in every meeting that, we engineers makes the world better. So basically, the purpose of these conferences, purpose of these discussions is to make the world a better world. So before we jump into or dive into the AI solutions, let us understand the sustainable challenges we face. For example, if you look into the data is sobering, like we see this data everywhere. So the global temperature is risen by more than 1 degree centigrade. The water level is increasing. I mean, I live in US. I'm actually on the beach side. So we always say that at 1 feet height of water, I'll see the sea coming to my backyard. So when we are losing more than 4.7 million hectares of forest annually, it is equivalent to, I will say, like 18 football fields in every minute. And more than 1 million plant and animal species are facing extinction. And despite the growing awareness of all this, and despite of knowing awareness of how the carbon emissions is impacting the world, we all know that the global carbon emissions is continuing to rise. So even if you look into Kerala itself, we know that we experience this climatic changes effect because we had the consequences of environmental degradation and having severe monsoons and flooding. And across India, challenges like water scarcity, air pollution, waste management, and which all demand urgent solutions. So the traditional narrative often positions technology and environmental protection in opposite phases because they will say that if you want to have technological growth, you need to compromise on the environmental protection because it's an old school actually. But suggesting that we must choose between progress and preservations, but that is a false dichotomy. In fact, technical innovations, particularly AI, is representing our best hope for addressing these challenges at scale and with the speed we require. Because right now we know that everything has to happen really fast because the world is changing so fast. And that's where you know that AI algorithms produces the result very fast. For example, in the old days, if you look into, if you want to search for something, you go to Google because again, it's not a technological advantage in the last decade. And then you search everything, you filter everything. But now at the high speed, you go to the chatting solutions, AI solutions, whether it could be ChatGPT or it could be Gemini or it could be Claude. You just type it in seconds. You get your answers after researching the whole thing is on your fingertip. So the key is directing our technological capabilities towards lowering the sustainability goals. That is creating what I call as a regenerative innovation. So this brings me to the fundamental principle. AI for sustainability isn't just about making our existing systems more efficient. Don't get confused with that. It is not to make our existing system efficient. With the AI's advancement, it is about reimagining and redesigning those systems because the problems are still the same, the challenges are still the same, but it's rather than refining the solution we already have, it is more about reimagining and redesigning those systems to regenerate by nature. So let's explore how AI is already driving the sustainable information transformation across key sectors. So the renewable energy sector has been revolutionized by AI. You know that Siemens and ABB, there are two big companies in this field. They're using smart grids, use machine learning, and balance supply and demand, reducing waste and maximizing the renewable integration. So the smart grid actually helps how to distribute the power and make use of the energy which is produced rather than wasting it. They use the reinforcement learning algorithm. Actually, they are using the reinforcement learning algorithm for dynamic load balancing. Similarly, if you look into me, all of you have read about this, the Google DeepMind reducing the cooling energy used in the data centers by more than 40% through intelligent optimization. So that the reason I'm highlighting that one was, we'll be talking about that later also. Sometimes we feel that in order to produce all this technology, we are actually hurting the environment a lot more. We will talk about that. So similarly, another example is if you look into the GE, General Electric, they increased the 20% by the turbine availability, and they extended the lifespan of these turbines by more than 7 years. So how do they do that? They actually look into more than 300 data points is analyzed per second on all the data which is coming in. And if you look into the solar capacity has grown in India, the AI-powered forecasting systems are actually improving our solar output prediction by more than 30%, making renewable energy more reliable and more grid-friendly. Because if you look into, you can see that in 2024, we are making 2.4 GW watts of capacity. Now it's more than 52 plus. So in a matter of 10 years, this has gone so much big. So now another area which which will help the environment is the agriculture. Look into the agriculture way of innovation. Agriculture employs nearly, I will say, if you look into the workforce, maybe more than half of the world workforce is actually somehow related to the agriculture because it feeds the people, isn't it? So it's being transformed through AI-enabled precision farming. Because right now in the agriculture world, there is a big initiative on precision farming. What is precision farming? Looking into the data and analyzing what needs to be done. As an example, so you use satellite imagery combined with the machine learning helps to optimize irrigation. Because by just taking the pictures, it understands that, okay, this area, rather than in the old days, we used to irrigate the entire place. Now we actually pick and choose. Where do we need more water? Where do you need less water? The same thing on fertilizing also. We actually, that is not to satellite imaging, but actually in the old days, to check among the soil capacity or what are the elements available in the soil, it was a long process. Now there are tools available. They come to the field, they just put that on the ground, they got the data. And now there are IoT devices too, which actually sends continuously saying that, okay, this particular nutrient is lacking. We need to put more into that one. Another example is, I know that a lot of people might have on your phone that if you see a tree or a plant or a shrub or one of your plantation, and if you take a picture of the leaf which has some decoloration, and then from the phone itself, actually it looks into and finds out what is causing it, what kind of what is happening on that tree, and what kind of treatment we need to remove that diseases from the plant. So what is the advantage? So this is actually allowing the farmers to address the problem before they devastate the whole crops. For example, when it starts, there might be one or two or three things, or you will see only on a few plants. You take it, you analyze it, you got the answers immediately, and you treat it there itself in the root rather than spreading. But if you can see that I can give an example. So I live in Florida. I can give an example. When I came to this country 25 years back, there was the Florida is known for Florida oranges. But at that time, I was not there. There was a disease called citrus canker, which came across, and they had to totally cut down almost every single orange tree we had here. I mean, we were not even allowed to grow another one for years. So those kind of issues can be resolved early. And companies like Facel, it is an Indian company, is using IoT devices, and they provide collect all the data and use the AI to provide crop specific recommendations. So that will, what happened to that? That will increase the yield while reducing the resource input. So you have to remember, it is helping in two ways. One is it is increasing the yield, which is really great, which is good for the world. Plus, it is reducing the resource utilization because rather than putting too much of fertilizer or too much of pesticides, it helps the farmers to produce in an optimum way. So it's a win for both farmers and it is a win for the environment. So the AI is accelerating the transition to a circular economy by optimizing the resource recovery and creating new value from the waste. The computer vision systems now sort the recyclables with a greater accuracy than ever before. Because you have to remember, one of the big challenges of waste management is separating it into different sort bins. Like what can be recycled? Even the recyclable, is it plastic? Is it metal? So a lot of these places, machine learning algorithms can design products and disassembly and reuse. So it actually helps. And this happens really fast because rather than something which used to take months or years, now it happens in a matter of the waste which is coming on a daily basis can be sorted out. So it actually helps for the faster decomposition. It reduces the material cost. It actually increases the efficiency and it actually increases the recovery. So actually, is it something which only big companies can do, or is it something like academic institutions can do? You know that the IISc Bangalore actually has developed an AI system that actually optimizes the waste collection routes. Actually, they have an AI developed system which actually route how the vehicle should go and pick it up so that it can reduce the fuel consumption and it improving the recovery rates because it actually takes the shortest path to get into every place. So that is IISc very and one of the examples of from an academic institution how we can help or come with ideas. I mean, honestly, here I really want to mention something, which is one of the things which I experienced. Couple of months, I was in India and I visited Amal Jyoti Engineering College's institutions. And I met with the director, the principal, the head of the departments for computer science, the head of the department for the MCA program. So they gave me a tour of the college and I was so impressed and I was telling to myself. So when I did my engineering back in the 80s, I was one of the first batch of the computer science and engineering students when in India started that branch. The infrastructure and the exposure and the opportunities available compared now is beyond comparable. So I know I had a tour in the innovation lab and I saw that the support from the industries are training on their new products in the college. So while walking out after that with the head of the principal and the director and the head, and I was hoping that hope the students will understand that this institution is providing something so they can be creative. And to my surprise, a group of 5 students, Alan, Abhishek, Advait, Ashik, and I think it's Rishel. They met me personally and they pitched me their initiative. And, thank you to Professor Jogi, sir, for, introducing the kids to me. It is a very good example of how technology and the environment goes hand in hand, supporting each other, and where this initiatives is happening. They are making a smart garbage bin, which make use of a sensor and a camera, and then they have different bins, and it is actually training the users. Everybody who is going to put a waste in, they have to show what that waste material, what they're trying to thrash it. If it is a plastic, it will open the bin for the plastic. If it is a food waste, it will open the bin for the food waste. And they already had a prototype made from the college lab itself. And they're working on it. They were trying to pitch it. And I was really impressed on that one. And they are also collecting the data of that waste removal. So you have to remember, AI works on data. So every data element is valuable. You know that the data cost money because when WhatsApp was brought over by Facebook, it's not because of the technology, it is because of the number of users and the data they are getting it. So everybody wanted data. So the group of kids is actually creating a program, a waste management bin, which actually helps it, teaches the public how to use recyclable, how to maintain it clean, because it is not going to open every single thing. It is going to open only the one which is supposed to, the waste is supposed to go. And then it actually calculates and records all the data so that can be used for future planning. So I was really impressed with their enthusiasm, and there are a lot of challenges. When you are starting a new business, there is a lot of challenges they are facing, and they explained to me how they are planning to overcome this, how we're going to work on this. And actually, I want to just say that I was so happy to hear the other day that they got some funding recently, and they signed up with a contract with a company in Dubai to do their proof of concept with them. So what I'm saying is, this is an example of how academic institutions and how the students itself can show how technology and AI can help to improve sustainable world. So you don't need to look anywhere else. You look into your own kids, the students out there. These 5 students I mentioned was graduate of this computer science program from Amal Jyoti Engineering College. And they did this project. They have started working on it their final year. So that's where academia and students and the researchers help with the industry to make it a better place. So the AI tools are now revolutionizing conservation efforts. So, for example, acoustic monitoring systems detect illegal logging in real time. There are camera traps combined with deep learning to identify and track endangered species without a human being in that place. Environmental DNA analysis, powered with the help of AI, monitor aquatic ecosystems by detecting species from water samples alone. As an example, there is already a non-human language processing, because we all heard about NLP, natural language processing, but there is an AI, there is a growth in that area where it's a non-human language translation. So, and they were successful in decoding the communication between the whales. So, what you're talking about here is this will help the environment to manage the environment in a better way. So, talking about saving the forest and the different species, we are actually helping the environment to make sure that our equilibrium is maintained. But I'm very much aware of the current situation where the wild animals, instead of animals hunting the humans, now it has turned to be it looks like the animals are hunting the humans rather than humans are hunting the animals. But capturing all these data points can predict how much they are going to grow. As an example, even if you take about this wild animals issue, by capturing all these elements, by having all these data points collected from the forest itself will show how that particular breed is growing, and whether that needs a control. And if it needs a control, because we have the data to prove, we can go to the governing authorities to make amendments to the law and correct the decisions so that the humans and the nature can stay together. So the AI can be used to capture all the data and then analyze it, produce or show them results, how it can be used for your day-to-day life. So in each of these cases, the technology is deeply integrated with the domain expertise. Engineers building these systems work closely with energy specialists. They have to work closely with the farmers. They have to work closely with the management experts, and they should be they should be closely working with this conversational biologist. And so this is actually not something with a technology team alone doing it, because it has to be a combination of talking with the local people, talking with the farmers, talking with the waste management people, even talking with the people who are impacted by the waste management. So this cross-disciplinary collaboration is very essential for AI solution to address a real world sustainability challenges. So if you really want to make something which is usable, it needs to be by a coordination of meeting with all the people, talking to the people, and making sure that all decisions are made by collecting the data which is needed. So while when you are exploring the AI's potential to address environmental challenges, we must also acknowledge an uncomfortable truth. AI development itself is a significant environmental footprint. As I mentioned earlier, when I said at that time, we will talk about that later. The amount of power we need, the amount of infrastructure we need to produce all this AI is actually putting more environmental issues. So that is an uncomfortable truth, that in order to get into the AI where we wanted to do, there is an environmental impact because of the infrastructures and the challenges and the power consumption, etc. So how we can help it? Because you cannot just say that because it is negatively impacting, we should not be doing that. So that's not the way engineering mind think. Engineering mind thinks is always, I mentioned earlier, we look for a better world. So we need to know that we know that AI is needed. So how can we achieve that? So what we do is we'll try to put technology into self-correction itself. For example, Training a single, if I take an example of a single large language model, if you take an LLM, a single LLM, that training that itself can emit as much carbon credit as, not credit, as carbon debit actually, as carbon as a 5 or 6 cars putting the emissions over their entire lifetime. So that is the amount of impact on the environment by training a large language model. But how do we overcome this? It's not something, so that's where we think creatively, we redesign, we look into the data, and then data centers are now accounting approximately 1% of the total electricity consumption. So which is, the total amount we spend on that one is maybe more than some of the small countries uses. But what we are using is, we use this AI itself. So we use the AI, learn these data points, and then AI will recommend us to make adjustments, and then that will improve the efficiency. I'm very much sure that you might have all heard about how Google did it. So Google announced that they are using AI to run their data centers and making it less carbon footprint. So here actually what happens is we need AI. There is a problem with the AI. So how do we accomplish that? So we use that and retrain the system using this power to say, okay, now I got it. How can I reduce my impact, but I still need my output? So that's where we can come up with newer models of LLM, newer models of generative AI, which actually uses less power. And then even in the data center, how the Google did was they put sensors all over the place, and then they identify which place needs to be, I'm now applying more cool air, and how we can assume, how we can reduce the power, and then they refine the LLM training model to make it more efficient so that it learns fast. So that something learns in 5 days, and if I can cut short that into 2 days, you save 3 days of computing power. So that's how it works. So this reality of that AI also contributing to this demands us to pursue what researchers call green AI. So artificial intelligence that prioritizes energy efficiency alongside with the performance. That is what is meant by green AI. So what does this mean? This means we need to generate efficient algorithms. So we need to develop models that can achieve results with the fewer computational resources. I always used to ask the question like, how you write the efficient code. So the efficiency of the code is how to reduce, since the systems are running so fast, we may not even realize that. But I know that in the computer science class, I always ask, in the first year of the class, when they start learning programming, I'll ask the question, if you want to optimize on performance, I always ask the question, if A greater than B, then X is true, else is false. How can I improve that statement? It's a very simple statement. And that's something which I always ask whenever I go for a talk to even if they are, in the first initial years of the development age. So that one sentence can be improved, isn't it? So basically, it is a duty of this technology, which is academia and the students and the research organizations to come up with more efficient algorithms so that we can train the models faster. And then we need to look into shifting AI workloads into data centers powered by renewable energy. And we have a very good example in Kerala. So if you look into the Cochin Sial, the whole thing runs on solar energy. So we need to look into and see what is that we can do so that the carbon footprint can be reduced. So other area of how we can generate green AI is hardware innovation. So creating specialized chips that deliver more AI power per watt. So if I can generate a better chip which produces or use less machine cycles per second or per execution, that increases my efficiency. So the life cycle assessment is another one, which is evaluating the full environmental impact of AI systems from development to deployment. So you need to analyze all those processes. Then setting industry standards for reporting the environment footprint of AI systems. For because we need to come up with a standard saying that any new development should have this X percentage of reduction compared to something else. So actually, Google has done something called, I think its name is Mobile Bird. There's a model which demonstrates this principle in action. So it actually delivers similar performance to larger models while requiring only a fraction of computing resource. But here you can see something. It's not limited to just the programmers of AI or the prompt engineers. It's actually going across the entire spectrum of technology. Like it could be better efficient algorithms, renewable energy generation, hardware innovation. So, and transparency, setting up the standard. So it's a combination or it's a collective effort from the entire technology field to produce this AI, which are better. So here actually we need to train the consumers also, the local people, like anybody who everybody should be aware of how we can improve this. As an example, how can a consumer contribute? See, at my home, I can see from my power company, Florida FPL, that at what day of the time they are using renewable energy, what time of the day they are sending, like renewable energy, like solar, or is it something else, or is it a nuclear power energy? So, and then I get that data. So actually, I can plan to do certain tasks. For example, if I want to say that I want to do my laundry, I might look into the energy produced during the renewable energy time. So that way, educating the consumers, the common public, the impact of sustainability with the help of things you already have. If they have a smartphone and if it tells you that, hey, this is the time period we are using this renewable energy, then maybe that's the time we should try to put certain tasks. I mean, we know that the light has to be turned on during the peak period, which may not be the renewable energy time. But there are a lot of things which we do, which we can plan accordingly. So it's a education to the common public too. And that's where these institutions, these researchers, these papers will help. It actually help that we educate the common public. The end consumer also can contribute. Everybody can contribute to get a better world. So we must also ensure that the solutions we make don't contribute to the same problems that they designed to solve. So you have to think that green AI isn't that optional. Never consider it as an optional choice. So if you want to be getting involved and if you want to make sure that your AI is helping in environmental, you have to make sure that it is essentially a truly sustainable technology progress. So you have to think green AI as an essential part of the sustainable technology growth. So as we deploy this AI for sustainability, ethical consideration must be center of our approach. So a truly sustainable future isn't just environmentally sound, but it is also just and equitable. So what does that mean? That the benefits of AI should be distributed equally across the society. It should not be concentrated towards the privileged class only. So anything what you generate, anything design you make, or any idea which comes in, it should be available to all users. But I'm not talking about you're writing a specific program targeting a specific user. For example, if you generate a fintech solution, or if you're generating something only for, say, financial analysis or logistics, so the consumers are only that one. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you're talking about sustainability and how we are developing new methods, new technology, new whether improving the efficiency. You have to think that it is something which is available to everybody. It has to be, it should not be concentrated only on the privileged class. So how can this happen? So local communities can participate meaningfully in developing and implementing solutions. So right now, we know that everybody is aware of how AI is helping us. And everybody is using it in one form or other. Even if you say that, hey, I'm not a technology expert, even if I'm not something else, I don't know much of technology, but every single person right now is using some sort of AI. So if you can communicate and involve the local communities to participate meaningfully. So what happens at that point? Actually, you will see a lot of areas where you don't even normally notice is area where you can improve and it will help the environment. And a lot of indigenous and traditional knowledge needs to be respected because it's already there. But we need to incorporate that and see how that can be efficiently used. So that helps. This local communities participation helps in generating that. And there should be transparency in any algorithms which allows for accountability and trust. Because the main point of bringing everybody together is accountability and trust. So this, when you're designing something, when you're planning something, we need to be ethical about how it is going to impact everybody in the society. How can I be transparent that there is an accountability and there's a trust in what we are developing, which actually helps. See, look into the smart city initiatives. So when it is deployed without attention to equality or equity, these systems can actually reinforce existing social division. For example, if you take into any city, there is, here there's a term which is called uptown and downtown and midtown, which means your town or the city is kindly divided into 3 different sections like downtown, midtown, and uptown. And then the financially affluent people normally concentrated on one area. So everything will be it's a different thing. So when we are considering the smart city initiatives, you just have to make sure that that initiatives what you are taking is applied across. It should not be only for an existing division which is already there. It should not increase that division, but actually it should dilute that division. But with an international design, we can create a more inclusive urban environment. As an example, there might be a part of the city where it's an old city. It's very congested, traffic is congested. But then there's another side here which is a newer one, more affluent area. So, but if you are putting a smart city grid, it should take into account of both. And you should see that how we can accommodate and help them. So what is the advantage of doing that? Those people, see, the environment is protected by everybody. It's a responsibility of every person. So as we include more and more people into this whole process, they learn about it, they understand about it, and not automatically they try to do it. And we can see it in our everyday life. 50 years back, when you drive through on a railway station, what you see is not what you see now. And the crowd is still the same, isn't it? There's an urban crowd, a rural crowd, city crowd, non-city crowd. They're all coming in, but everything is changing because they all got educated how to be behaving in a place, how we should make sure that a place is kept clean and neat. So those we need to do on this kind of process too. So when you're improving energy efficiency, or when you're improving the transportation access, or when you're looking at a solution to improve the air quality, it should be for all residents. It should be across the board. So otherwise, what happens is there are two causes for that one. One is if you don't do that, what happens is people get divided. So there will be people, not everybody is educated. So there will be all that brings a lot of problem for adaptation by everybody. Second thing is, that AI learns from data. So if you give wrong data, it's going to learn wrong way. So if you say that you put only in the affluent area or in a specific area only, or a specific category only, then the data you are getting is only that from that affluent area. So the AI, when you are recalculating or when you are training or when you are modeling, or when you're asking for the next time, because you have to remember every time when you send data to the AI model, it's actually learning again and again and again and again. So what happens? The system learned from that bad data. When I say bad means not as in a social way, because it got the data, the data are correct, but it is actually a segmented data, so that the ethical background is not there. So it is actually learning only on that process. So that is where we need to be very careful that the data we are feeding into the system to model or train should be ethically correct. So this is actually, very important. That is particularly important actually in an Indian context, where technology must serve diverse communities across, we have a vast different socioeconomic conditions, religious, cultural. So we need to make sure that it incorporates all those. So the AI solutions we are building for sustainability must work not just with the tech hubs like Bangalore or Hyderabad, but also you should be working in rural villages and developing regions. So we need to make, but the one solution may not fit everywhere. We may have to take a variant of that one. But we just want to make sure that when you're designing something, when you're looking into something, if you're looking at the future, you need to make sure that you're looking at the wider spectrum of data and resources. So in practice, that means that we should develop an AI system that function with limited connectivity, because you have rural areas where we may not have high speed internet. To operate on accessible, affordable devices. Not everybody can afford an iPhone. So you should not be building something which has a capacity of only of that. I'm just giving an example as an iPhone as an example, but it can be any device. And then you have to respect the cultural context and the religious context. I'm not saying that you should minimize on what you want to do, but when you're designing something, you have to, when you're looking at the market and how you're going to improve, you have to look into all those. And then you have to make sure that you're providing interfaces that work for users with the various level of technical literacy. I mean, like I said, I learn engineering. I consider myself as technical person, but sometimes I see that my two kids are much better on using the phone and its features than me, and they're not engineers. But I see that they use it more efficiently than me. So there are varying levels of technical literacy. So sometimes I have to go and ask them, how do you do this? And then you have to make sure that this is something which can be maintained and it can be supported, if possible, locally. So there is a concept called inclusive design for AI responsibility, which is called IDAR. It's a framework developed by IIT Delhi, which offers very valuable guidance for creating AI systems that respect these principles. So here also you have to remember that comes from an academic institution, from a research organization. It was a research paper initially. So it emphasized participating design process that involved communities from the beginning, rather than imposing a technological solutions from outside. So that's where actually these conferences, I see value in all those conferences. Even I presented a paper long back around, I will say, my first paper was on image processing and pattern recognition. So I jokingly say that I published the paper for AI like 30 years back. Because what I was doing as I was working for VSSC at Trivandrum. So actually my process was research was on capturing the rocket track and analyzing the data using Gabber functions. So that's a technological growth which actually proves the foundations. And then once we have a solid proof of concept or solid theory, that industry is willing to take it and take that baton and run with that. So the challenges what we see in developing AI for sustainability and ensuring that AI itself is sustainable cannot be solved by a single institution or a single discipline or a sector alone. So that is where we need a collaborative framework. So that collaborative brain framework will bring together interdisciplinary research teams spanning computer science, environmental science, engineering, social science, and ethics. So these different departments, I mean, I just named only a few, but you have to look into that it's an interdisciplinary research. AI is interdisciplinary because you need a behavioral science to see how humans behave. So if you talk about only computer science and environmental science and engineering and ethics, that's not enough because we need somebody who knows human psychology, who understands humans' behavior. So all these needs to come into place. So that's why this innovation has to be collaborative. The framework should be a collaborative place where different, the specialists from different fields come together, discuss ideas. So we need also public and private partnership that combine government resources with the private sector innovation. Because the government resources and private sector innovation, if you combine together, the advantage is a lot of paperwork, all those kind of things can be helped by the government resources. And you know that private sector, I'm not saying government sector is not good in innovation because we have a lot of government organizations which are doing great. But private sector actually goes faster on innovation. So when you combine private public together and partnership, we get a better product. The same goes with academic and industry collaboration. And if you look into if any of this growth or idea, it all originated in an academic world. There might be a paper presented by somewhere. There might be like one of the technological meeting where somebody presented or talked about something. So these academic knowledge and the theory behind it is the backbone. So that is why academy in US actually, every university has a collaboration with industries. And I see that it is now in India too, because like I said in the beginning, I visited Amal College and I saw that the different companies are actually giving their products to the college for people to learn about it. And then they bring their technical staff to come there to the college to train it. I mean, honestly, that's impressive. So this and academic industry collaboration is one of the key in developing and making sure that because industry people will come and say, see, academic theory might have a lot of things which theoretical. So that's where the industry comes in and says, yes, this concept is great, but these items, we need to redefine or we need to go back to the drawing board. And we need to engage the community to ensure solutions address real world needs. So this kind of conference actually exemplifies this collaborative spirit by bringing together the diverse perspectives across the academia, industry, student communities. The conference like Nacore creates a fertile ground from which innovative solutions can emerge. Why the students are involved? Very simple. Because everybody asks why you are involved in the students, they're just learning. That is true. But the answer is very simple. The future is built by them. The earlier we make them aware, make them a part of this innovation, include them to make a better tomorrow, it makes achieving these goals easily. So when you have a student participation in any of these research programs as an intern or as a project, and that all big universities does that. So the advantage is the people who got interest actually comes for this kind of projects. So which means that person is actually dedicating their time. The student is actually willing to dedicate the time to learn more about a specific research or a specific prototype. That means he or she will give 110% into that project. So that will make it achieving the easier. I want to make it very clear that we should do that. What I'm saying is we should do only on the sustainable project. It can be anywhere because that we were just talking about sustainability and environment. But in the AI, it's in everywhere, isn't it? It's in healthcare. There is a lot of projects going on there. it's in fintech, it's in accounting, and it's, you take the field and it is already there. So I can give a couple of examples like how these things helps. The first example I want to give is the self-driving cars. So it's a technology growth. How is it helping the environment? So if a city is fully running on self-driving cars, imagine the benefits you are getting. First of all, there won't be any traffic congestions because everybody follows the rules, isn't it? And if anything else, it actually goes in the right way. That means it will reduce the emission. It will reduce the consumption of the power needed to generate, whether it is electric from the battery or is it through a gas cylinder. And then it reduces the number of accidents because the car knows that it is time to stop, it is time to move, it should take to the right or it should to the left. So the number of accidents will drastically drop. So that means the parts and the work needs to be done will be reduced, which is likely going to help the environment. So this, and if you look into it, actually helps the insurance industry, which will help the environment. It will actually help the medical because since the number of accidents is reduced, the medical emergencies happening out of accidents will be drastically dropped, which will again reduce the amount of wastage which happens in the hospitals. So that will again help. So doing it in other areas will also actually, if you think properly and design properly, it will help the environment. And another example I can give from my personal example is actually in my earlier company, we are providing electronic confirmation to auditors. So what it does is we, instead of in the old days, we used to send letters, all auditors used to send letters or a fax to the banks to confirm what the company is saying correct or not. So you get a letter back and you get a fax back. Think about the paper wastage. So what we did was, we created an electronic confirmation. The auditors come to our platform, request a confirmation. We electronically send it to the bank. And go to my banks, we already have a process where we automatically grab it. There is no third party there and get the information back. So what are the advantages? From the environmental perspective, we reduced all those trees, like killing the trees, because we don't need to make any papers. And on top of that, it is more reliable because the fraud happening on a paper confirmation is really high because that is something somebody writing. So even if I have $1 million, even though I have only $1 million in my bank for that company, they can forge a paper saying that they have 100 million. I mean, if you are, I know, if you're looking into a couple of things years back, what happened in Europe, there is a company called Wirecard, which was more than $1 million company. And now it's in bankruptcy. It's actually done. It's in insolvency right now. What happened was their CEO was forging this document and giving to the auditors saying that they have millions in the bank when they didn't have anything. So these kind of things have not happened. So how do we use this other than helping only the environment? How did I get that? Because what we did was we created something called an EDU site, .edu, same confirmation process, but it's called an EDU site. Then we collaborated with a lot of universities here. I also went to the university with my CEO, pitched our product and told them, we are giving it free to you. Can you put a curriculum around it? So what is the win? It's a double or triple win. First of all, we are educating the new coming auditors that there is something. You don't need to go and do the paperwork. We can do electronically. So and our company is doing it. So it's a triple win. It's a free marketing for us because all these kids who are learning CPA or chartered accountancy will know about our product. So that's a win. Second win is they save the environment because they're going to use that and they save the time. And then it actually avoids the wastage of paper, removing postal service in the option or the fax version. So there's a financial gain. That product is a fintech product, but it actually helps the environment too. And how do we educate people? We created an EDU site, gave free to the people. They are for the new budding chartered accountants. So even if they go and join a company who is never heard about our company, And if they're trying to send it by paper, we were 100% sure that that auditor, the new chartered accountant will go and tell, hey, there is an electronic version available. Let's use that, which is faster, more reliable, more accurate. So we are getting free marketing, isn't it? And free sales. So another example which I can provide is from the current product. So it's a fintech product. What I do right now is the Starfish, which I am the CTO and the co-founder. So we do a financial analysis using AI. So this product is not to replace chartered accountants or auditors. This is actually augmenting the auditor's output. So how does this product actually analyzes the report, the financial statements, and tells the CEO and CFO what is the problem, what do you need to do. They normally do it on Excel sheet or on paper, takes days and days of multiple people to analyze it. For us, we are using AI. For one of our biggest company, which has more than 100 250 locations, we gave the whole analysis in less than an hour, which they used to take 2-3 weeks of work by multiple people. So where does this, okay, this is financial, it's a fintech company. It's a financial gain for us, we were successful. But where is it helping the environment? So this is a good example. While we are doing the analysis, on one of our first clients, we saw that they are spending a lot of money on consumable like paper, napkins, and other items used in their restaurant business. And it is very high compared to their other locations, and it was very high compared to the industry standard, best in class, and average. So we created a task and gave it to the CEO and CFO saying that, guys, you run a successful business, but a couple of locations, your cost on this is high. This is way high percentage of sales. So they went in and they found that those 2 locations, the manager was not doing it in a different way. The rest of the place was doing it in a different way. They corrected it and they saved more than $60,000 in just 1 year. And this we showed it in the first month itself. So it's a financial win for them, but how is it helping the environment? Because it's $60,000 worth of consumable waste is saved. So that helps the company. That's why whether you're working on any product, you can include and make sure that there's a sustainability part according to that. So as we conclude, I like to offer a call to action, a specific step each one of us to take to make sure that we advance in the vision of AI for sustainable future. So we have different category of people here, like we have researchers, we have educators, we have students, we have industry. So for researchers, consider the environmental and social impact of your work from the outset. Incorporate sustainability metrics along with the traditional performance measures. Collaborate across disciplinary boundaries, meaning don't stick to the department only, just go across disciplinary boundaries and find out what can be done. So that will give a better research option. For educators, integrate sustainability principle into computer science and engineering curriculum itself. Help students to understand that technical excellence must be coupled with environmental, and more than that, there's a social responsibility. So make sure that we give that to the next generation, to the future. The kids are the future, the students are the future. So we teach them that. So for the students, seek opportunities to apply what you learned, the technical skills for sustainability challenges. It could be helping your home, doing something which your parents do, or something your friends do, or something which you also have by farming, or you might have something else. How can I help there? Because there are opportunities out there. The reason we don't find those opportunities, we get used to that. A simple example, the example which I gave you earlier, like the confirmation. Till the CEO, the president of the company found this electronic confirmation, it was the de facto norm. If you want to get an auditing, you send the paper out. Nobody questioned it. Nobody thought in a different way. So there are ways where we can improve everywhere. These are our business opportunity too. So just by doing this help to the nature, actually you're becoming an entrepreneur. You're building a business. because you are looking to opportunities everywhere. So make sure that you code and write the systems you design have a real world impact. Make those impact positive ones. And then for the industries, advocate for green AI practices with your organization. Build cross-functional teams that include sustainable expert also. Measure and report environmental impact on all your system. But keep in mind, that is not to bring down your growth or block your growth, but to accelerate your growth. The environmental, like I mentioned earlier, technology and the environment should not be opposing each other. It should be supporting each other. So that's what the industry should do. And for the policymakers, so that is people in the government who are in the positions, high positions, they need to develop frameworks that should incentivize the people to create an AI innovation while establishing, guardrails. You have to put guardrails about harmful applications. The task before us is immense, but so is our collective potential. The task is immense, but our collective potential is also so high. So the brilliance, the creativity, the dedication in this room, because we all attending this, you are participating this either as an attendee or as presenting a paper or trying to learn something. So this dedication in this room today itself gives tremendous hope. Each of you has a unique role to play in creating the future where AI serves as a powerful force for sustainability. The choices we make today, as maybe a researcher or a developer or a business leader or a policymaker or a general citizen of the country, will shape this technology impact for generations to come. So you have to think that way. So let us ensure that when future generations look back at the AI revolution, like how we look back when the light bulb was invented by Thomson Edison, or as later as when Steve Jobs introduced the iPhone, it changed the whole the phone business, isn't it? So when I look back, I will say that he's a great man. He changed the whole concept. Because before that, it was always like, one letter, that is the maximum technology was, one has 3 letters, ABC, 2 has 3 letters, DEF, and you had to text or type anything to it. Internet was not there, but it's in the primitive. And the user capability was so bad, but he reinvented it. So when you look back, you think that, oh man, that's a great opportunity. And then self-driving cars, it's a great revolution. Similarly, when the future generation look back at our generation where AI is in the early stages or the AI revolution has started, they should see this as a moment for a humanity's technology ingenuity aligned with our responsibility to the planet. The future generation should look back and say that that generation was responsible to the planet. At the same time, they use technology for that. So let's build an AI system that helps us live in harmony with the earth and systems rather than conflicting with them. Thank you for your attention. I think I'm on time. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward. If you have any questions or you have more conversations, we can talk. You can contact me personally, or if there is anything which I can answer now, feel free. This is now, this concludes my thing, and I hope, we are getting some ideas that looking at the future and looking at what we are now, we can build a better tomorrow. Thank you. So is there anything which I can answer, or if you want, like I said, I'm free to meet the people. So, and I know that sometimes people are not willing to ask in public or talk in public. Jubi sir has my contact information. So if you want to shoot me an email, more than happy to help the young generation, because my experience in the last 35 years, and lately for the last 5-6 years in the AI-based and fintech world. More than happy to share with anybody and help anybody. Go ahead. I know that somebody's asking a question. Yes.
Question is, can AI develop autonomous nature-based technologies to revive ecosystems or endangered animals and reduce human ecological footprint?
Can you repeat that once again? I'm sorry. I mean, my speaker was not up to the highest volume.
So my question is, can AI develop autonomous nature-based technologies to revive endangered species, to regenerate ecosystems, and to reduce human ecological footprints?
Yes. The answer to that one is yes. Think about this way. Nowadays, even the governments, like the forest departments, I don't know much about in India, but in US, they actually keep IoT devices in the forest. So they actually capture, they actually track the migrating birds. They actually track the endangered species. For example, I live in Florida and there is an Everglades. There is an endangered species there. So basically what they do is, it's called manatee. It's very endangered. So they actually monitor almost every manatee. We can go and see it. They have it in the zoos if you want to see it, but they know how many of them are there, how much they're depleting, and then they use this technology. Honestly, they use AI to track their movements and find out how they can help so that they grow up, but not beyond a certain limit, but they are not endangered. So I can give an example of manatee as an example where the US government is right now doing it. So actually they embed tracking devices into these manatees and put them back into the Everglades and the sea, and then they monitor them.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
So my question is, in the context of sustainable related decision making, like for local scales, global scales, or international scales also. So how do we make AI more transparent and at the same time auditable for the decision making?
That's a good question. That's one of the things which I mentioned because I didn't go into the details. See, the thing is, every government is trying to do something. Every organization is trying to do something, and it's worldwide phenomenon. But that's when actually one thing which I saw, that one was the carbon credit. When it became, they use AI right now, but it did not start as an AI project. So every company was mandated to give a carbon credit, like how much they are going to reduce. So that becomes so transparent. So that is a good example of transparent. They have to show in their annual release of the statements that if we were targeting in 2030 or 2035, this is my target amount. So the challenge there comes is, so when they started it, it's like that, the carbon credit goes by a date. So if today I have say 100, I'm just giving an arbitrary number, I will say by 2030 or 2035, it will be 50. But they don't accommodate, at that time, they didn't accommodate into the growth plan. So basically what happens, we try to control all travel, we try to do all that, and we try to get it. But when the company is growing, it's not possible to meet that 100. So that's where you need to come with more reasonable kind of way of doing it. How do you put these protocols in place? Even though it has not changed, and it's still that way. But that's a good example to show that how policy making impact certain decisions. But that's how it goes in. We started somewhere and then we refine it. And then priorities changes, government changes, then things change and then priority changes. But to answer your question about transparency and trust, see, unless you trust your protocols and then making that something which is internationally standardly acceptable. So normally what happens is a lot of process in the sustainability, how it happened, what I saw it in US is different companies starts in different ways. And then they realize that it is making progress, but they are all going in different directions. Then they form a consortium. So once the consortium is formed, they sit together, they come up with the policies and then they advise it. If you look in back, this is not new. You all know about IEEE. IEEE does the same thing for years and years and years. But only thing is, it was only more on the technical side. Like, they collect and then they put protocols in place. The same concept is applied, but in a different. That's what I was saying, that when you are not refining what we have, redesigning and reimagining what we have. So that is where young minds like you need to think. What is that? This is a problem. This is how we are solving it. Is there a better way to do it? So that actually gives you two options. One is you're learning it, you're providing to society, and like I mentioned towards the end, that helps a big business opportunity. I know that the kids out there are people who really wanted to have their own business. So that's where you see all these opportunities coming in. And if you can, the person who asked, if you can, send me an email with your, I can send you a few articles which might be interest to you.
Thank you, Mr. Suresh Babu, for your insightful and thought-provoking address on how AI helps in sustainable futures. With this, we conclude the inaugural session of Nacore 24. We look forward to a day filled with engaging breakout presentations, lively discussions, and invaluable knowledge sharing. Thank you all for your presence and participation. I request the audience to have tea, which is arranged outside the hall. After the tea, the participants are requested to proceed to their respective venue for their presentations.
Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the conference.